Hi, today we're going to go over lesson 3.1 over lines and angles. So what we're going to do is we're going to define some pretty basic terms here. The first one is parallel. These are lines that are coplanar and they do not intersect. So whenever you look in your textbook, they use this little symbol here to mean parallel. Now, normally when we write the symbol for parallel, if we did that, it would look a lot like the number 11. So when I write it, let's look over here to the right. Notice how I put them at a slant. And so whenever you're writing it, put it at a slant, and it will not resemble the number 11, therefore not causing confusion. So let's look at the picture over here on the far right and find four lines that are parallel. So I started with E, F, and so again, you name a line with 2 points and you put the little line with arrows on top. It is parallel to AB, which I wrote next. And it is also parallel to HG, which I wrote next. And then lastly, D to C. So let's go back and look at this picture. How is this one and this one in the same plane? Because the definition says the lines are coplanar. Now, when you first look at the two lines, do they appear to be in the same plane? Now, remember, there are planes here that aren't necessarily drawn. So imagine this is a cube of cheese. Could you slice this cube of cheese diagonally? And of course you could. And if you were to slice this diagonally, there would be a plane there. And so therefore DC and EF form a plane. So that's why they are parallel. Okay, the next word is skew. So a skew line, they are non-coplanar, they're not parallel, and they do not intersect. So when we do this, so this yellow one is the one we're going to work with. We're going to find 4 lines that are skewed, and there's always going to be 4. So the hard part is this is a 3-dimensional shape on a piece of paper. So you have to think like 3-dimensionally. So when I say CG doesn't intersect it, you have to remember that's actually like behind it. And the yellow line's in front of it. They're never going to intersect. And DH here, it's back behind EF. They're never going to intersect. Another one, AD, it's up above, and also BC. So those little green lines are all skew to the original yellow line, which is EF. Now the word parallel, we can have planes as well that are parallel. So when I look at this picture, I notice the top and the bottom plane, they're shaded. So let's use those. The top plane, we use any 3 of those letters. I chose DCB. Now you could choose anything you want. If you want to say DAB, dab, or bad, or cab, there are many combinations. Just pick 3 letters. I chose DCB. Is parallel, so I wrote the new symbol. And on the bottom, I pick any of the 3 of the 4 letters. I chose HEF. Now, here's a question. How many sets of parallel planes are within our diagram? Well, the top and bottom, that's 1 set. The left and right, that's 1 set. And the front and back, that's another set. So there are technically 3 sets of parallel planes within this picture. We also have the vocab word transversal. A transversal is a line that intersects 2 or more coplanar lines at different points. So when you have this line that comes through, this green line comes through, it creates all these new angles. And so that's what the next part of our lesson's about, all the angles that our transversal forms. So when you see this picture over here on the right, these yellow angles, these are in the interior of those two lines. So if you're not in the interior, that means the rest of it is the exterior. Now, let's look at the first name. It's called alternate interior angles. Now, what are we alternating? Well, we're alternating sides of the transversal. So let me put this in at a darker color here. I'm alternating sides, and I'm dealing only with interior angles. So let's get rid of the exterior angles. So now I'm limited to just those interior 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now it does say we're alternating, so that means one needs to be on the left, one needs to be on the right. Now some people want to say these two, 5 and 6, for instance, would be alternating. Well, guys, that's already something we know. That's called a linear pair. So this is something new today. We're alternating sides, and one set would be 3 and 6. Another set would be 4 and 5. Those are alternate interior angles. So we have same side interior. So again, let's go to the interiors. Now they're going to be on the same side. So we're talking 3 and 5, 4 and 6. And together, those are called same side interiors. Okay, corresponding. Now, again, when I teach this, I normally have you, at least in the beginning, draw a box around them. So you can see that you have really like 4 corners. And the lower, let's say, right-hand corner corresponds with the lower right-hand corner with the other set of angles. So 4 and 6 are corresponding. And so this little method works for all of them. So if I have 2, this is the upper right-hand corner. What does it correspond to? Well, the upper right-hand corner down here is 6. Now, something we need to write down is usually the name says interior, exterior angle. And notice this one doesn't say that. It just says corresponding. So let's look at the set we just talked about, 2 and 6. Notice the 6 is interior, but the 2 is exterior. Oh, one of each. Let's look at the next set, 4 and 8. One is interior, the 4. One is exterior, the 8. So that means you have one interior and one exterior angle. And it's always going to be this way. So this is a good point to write down and to remember. Now, the last word that we have for today is alternate exterior angles. So the exterior angles are on the outside. If you're alternating, so that's 1 and 8 or 7 and 2. Now, today's lesson is just about identification, all the different types. So how many different types did we have today? We had 4. Alternate interior, same side interior. So there's 2 interiors. We have 1 exterior, alternate exterior, and then we have the corresponding where you have 1 interior and 1 exterior. So guys, that's it. You're just going to practice the vocabulary words on your assignment. If you have any questions, please contact me. Thank you.